and welcome to Kaya Mini Reads. So today I want to discuss three books that were like the most memorable books that I've read. Actually, scratch that. There are a lot of books I read that are like super memorable, but I want to highlight these three books for this video, and I will definitely keep those recs coming. But for today, the first book is gonna be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So V.E. Schwab, I believe this was the first book I read and of hers, and I really liked. I then got into Vicious and Vengeful series, which I think she has a third book coming. Anyway, focus. Okay, so Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This book is very it was one book that I read, and it like I really I really like the book. It's soft magic, so it's like barely there's magic actually, but it's not like any kind of magic that comes with like a fantasy world that has like plot and stuff defined. It's just there's this girl called make sure Adeline, and she meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible bargain. And her bargain is she will live for a very long time. Like basically, she has immortality, but no one remembers her name. So it was really sad. It invoked feelings in me. I felt very sad for Addie because I'm like, man, she's lived these lives. Like she's known a lot of people. Imagine like she's loved people, she's lost people, and like no one will ever remember her name. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why this book stuck with me. I mean, it's not a new book in any way. It's like 2022, I think it came out. Yeah. Oh, 2020 actually. So yeah, 5 years ago, and it still stays with me. This book. I mean, if they were ever gonna do an adaptation, I mean, this would be a very good book to adapt, like a movie, because it invokes a lot of like, what would my legacy be, and is there someone that's gonna remember me by? I think those are really important things that we should think about. And mortality as a human being is, what is the cost of immortality? Like, it's something that Addie just never realized how important it was to have people that loved her not even, they didn't even remember her. So Addie LaRue, one of my, very interesting read. I read it about 2022, and it stuck with me. So next book that I'm gonna be discussing is gonna be Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhaus. So whenever this book came out, I read it, and then when the sequel came out, I read it again. And Black Sun is one of those books that I just read, and I just like, I know the story, but I want to read it again. Like, it's so good. I honestly cannot say the same for the other books in the trilogy, to be quite honest. But Black Sun, like, read it as a standalone. It's very, very, very interesting to read. And then it's like pre-Columbia, South America's kind of, is set in those kinds of continent. And it's about like, pretty different types of magical elements. There's like, they have these different houses, like the eagle, they have the birds, and they have mermaids, kinda, I think. And then we have Serapio, who is the crow god ish. And I'm just gonna say something. So I think basically the first chapters of this book makes or breaks you. Like, you either want to read it or you just be like, yeah, I'm done. So that was one thing that drew me in immediately. I read the first chapter one, yeah, literally chapter one. It's like the first 5-6 pages. Like you're sucked in. So either you love it or you hate it. I really loved it. I read this 2 times. I didn't really care for the other books in the trilogy. I mean, they were okay, but I don't know. There was something about Black Sun. It's very, very interesting. It's a different blend. There is fantasy in it, but it's, again, it's like a soft fantasy. And it's, like I said, it's pre-Columbia, South America's jungle kind of like inspired, where there's like warring tribes and there's betrayal, there's backstabbing going on between the different houses. People are vying to be like the head priest. And then there's this guy who is supposedly the Crow God's avatar, who is coming from a far away place to come back to the main city to take back what belonged to the Crow God. So that's like a very high level synopsis, but Rebecca Roanhaus, I'm sorry, I was gonna say Rebecca Roanhaus did something with this book because it's so special to me. I read it twice. I would definitely read it again. So yeah, pick it up if those are themes that you would want to read. And so the last book that I'm gonna be discussing is gonna be this one is actually pretty underhyped. I rarely ever see people talk about it. And that's going to be The Helm of Midnight by Marina. Yeah, Lostetter. I hope I said that right. So, I'm going to actually read it a bit because this one, it's pretty hard for me to explain. I'll try. So, in a daring and deadly heist, thieves have made away with an artifact of terrible power, the Death's Mask of Louis Chabron. Made by a master craftsman, it is imbued with the spirit of a monster from history, a serial murderer who terrorized the city. Now, Chabron is loose once more, killing from beyond the grave, but these murders are different from before, not simply random, but the work of a deliberate mind probing for answers to a sinister question. Krona Hivarts and her fellow regulators must enter the mind of madness to stop this insatiable killer while facing the terrible truths left in his wake. So, it's like a horror... No, I wouldn't say horror, but like a serial killer set in a fantastical world kind of vibe. So, in this world, they have a way of preserving people's memories. So when you die, they will make a mask of your face and they give that to your family, or if it's like let me say like Thomas Bell, whoever, I think he invented the telephone. Like famous people, they will have their death mask and people can wear it and I guess kind of access the memories of these people. So... And then, when you do wear the mask, you actually can get their abilities for like some period of time. So for like they said someone stole the death mask of Louis Chabron, which means that if someone is wearing Louis Chabron's death mask, they will be able to be a serial killer because they will know exactly like where to cut and how to kill people. And that's why it's pretty dangerous because they have some masks that they belong to like, murderers, like really bad people. They don't want those masks to be out. But like if it's the good masks, they have them on for rent. Like you can rent it out. You can use it to get inspiration, that kind of stuff. So Krona is tasked with finding out who stole the mask. And that's really what goes on in the first book. And at the same time, we also get a timeline into Louis Chabron's life. Like the same, in present day, we're, investigating the mask with Krona. And then they take us back a couple years when Louis Chabron was still alive. And it was kind of like showing us his life up until how he got to be a serial killer kind of thing. So it's actually very interesting. I don't don't like whodunit kind of books, but you know, like I said, there's some like fantastical elements going on. It's a very different, there's like gods that died and then they have powers that people are leaning on. I mean, like tapping into, and also the science behind the whole death math things, like that was also very interesting for me to read. So then she went on to bring out, I think the whole trilogy is complete. The last one, The Teeth of Lights or Daylight. I can't remember the exact name. But the third book is actually out. So if you want, you can definitely pick it up if this sounds up your alley. Like I said, it's not really what I typically go for, but I read it and it was an instant, like, I enjoyed this book so much. I bought the second one. I pre-ordered the third one. I just don't have my copy yet. But it did come out February the 4th. And this month. It actually came out this month. The last book in the trilogy. So this is the best time to pick it up and get started. But yeah, this was a very, 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 very good read. I enjoyed it and it stayed with me because, like I said, I don't really do whodunit. But this was a good whodunit with some fantasy and also, Krona. Oh my, I stand Krona so much. Like, she's so badass. I'm like, I need to read it again. I actually need to read it again just because I just love the way Krona is. She manifests, like, in the book. She's like, she's there. So pick it up if you like mystery, a little bit of fantasy, and also some serial killing Jack the Ripper kind of thing. And funny enough, the backstory for the serial killer guy, it was actually pretty sad. I mean, how he got to where he got to, it was actually sad. So it also shows you that people, like, they don't always start out as bad people. Circumstances will make people into who they eventually become. So, it was a really good lesson that, you could learn from that. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for hanging with me, and I hope you will pick the books up, read it. Let me know if you like them or if you've read them. What were your thoughts? And as always, please like and subscribe my videos. Like and subscribe to my videos, and let me know in the comments if you want me to do these types of videos, more of these types of videos. So, anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.